Hello, I'm Julie Montgomery, and we are here today with the Executive Vice President of Local Social for Engage One-to-One, Mr. Brian Q. Smith. Good day, Brian.
Good morning, Julie. Very
Hey,
happy to be here with you today.
great. Thanks for taking a little time. It seems that we have a lot of customers and readers that ask us some of the similar questions over and over, and thought it would be great if you would carve out a little time and just go through some of those frequently asked questions we get from small businesses. They're trying to get in a good place with their social media. So if that's all right, let's just dive right in. So the first big question we get a lot is, will social media work for me? I mean, most people running a business feel like they don't have time to commit to more to-do items. What would you tell them?
Okay, well, that's a real interesting question, and I think I would answer it this way. And I want to get to the issue of work for me. You know, kind of what does that mean? What does work for me mean?
Mm-hmm.
And in our lexicon, the language of social media, essentially what it means is, am I able to build a community of individuals that have mutual interests and that are interested and engaged in my product or service? And so if you think about your social media page, let's say your Facebook business page, for example, but that could be your Twitter account, or that could be your LinkedIn page, or Google+, Pinterest, or Instagram. Think of it as your face to the world, your calling card to the world. In fact, it will be one of the first things that people will research about you before they even reach out to you to think about doing business. Roughly 83% of all online users today will research your social media presence first before they communicate with you directly. So will social media work for me? It will work for you if you're able to have what one might call a robust presence, a good number of likes, fans, followers, and that it's comprised of individuals that are in your target market, which could be individuals based on geography, age, education, mutual interests, and that they are engaging, meaning that they're watching your posts, they're looking at your posts, and they're making comments, likes, and shares. So generally speaking, yes, it will work for you, but you do have to devote a little bit of time and effort to do it properly.
Yeah, I think I saw the most recent stats that Facebook put out is 1.7 billion people a month are on Facebook. So that's an interesting thought if you're wondering if social media can work for you. So what you just listed off were some a lot of different platforms. How would I know which social media platforms might work best for my type of business?
Okay. The platforms you want to focus on are the ones that are most appropriate for your target audience. For example, if you own a business in children's services, in the children's services sector, such as educational testing, tutoring, fitness, etc., you want to make sure that you focus on social pages that are appropriate for that audience. You might be in specialty retail or real estate or health and wellness. Let's first talk about the big four. The big four would be your Facebook business page, would be a Twitter account, would be a LinkedIn account, and would be, I said Facebook business page, Twitter account, LinkedIn account, and Google+. Some of you may not be aware of Google+. Of course, it's provided by Google. We encourage use of Google+ because it really helps you with your search engine optimization. In other words, it helps you get noticed when people are doing searches on the web. Now, there are a number of other social media pages that might be more applicable for you. For example, Pinterest and Instagram. But let's kind of try to focus on the top four. If you're beginning in social media, those are the critical ones that you need to pay attention to.
Okay. So do I need to have an actual business Facebook page if I'm going to be on Facebook, or can I just use my personal profile?
Okay, let's talk about that. The Facebook business page was designed to enable you to promote your business. In other words, to have a face to the online audience that represents your business. So now let's talk about the distinction between a Facebook business page and your Facebook personal page. Your Facebook personal page is designed for you to have an online, to have a social presence within your intimate friends, family, associates, where you are sharing information about you as a person, about your family, about experiences that you're having, perhaps opinions and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
That's geared just to individuals in your individual or your appropriate audience, your friends, family, cousins, uncles, aunts, nephews, sisters, etc. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the Facebook business page is designed for you to promote your business, and kind of never the twain should meet. Let me explain that. The Facebook business page has some specific functionality that is designed to help you promote your business, which the personal page does not. For example, you can set up targeted audiences or customized targeting that will enable you to promote your posts and have your posts and your content reach the right person. You're able to do advertising, which means that you can put some dollars behind your posts and or your promotions. We'll talk about that a little bit later, to reach more people and to get a response. You have statistics and information that's available to you. So the difference is really simple. The personal page is about you as an individual and your connections with your friends and personal connections. The Facebook business page is about promoting your business. So the answer is yes, you need a Facebook business page. You absolutely do. And it will give you a very valuable way to make a distinction between you as the person and your business, and make it much easier for your prospects and customers to identify with your company, your brand, your product, and your service.
Right. Recently, I was doing some research on this topic for a blog that we'll note here down in the bottom, so you could link to that. So another cool thing is when you make your business a page, you become a Facebook place. So when people come to your local storefront, excuse me, Facebook very often, if you've noticed lately, will say, hey, it looks like you're at, fill in the blank of the name of your business. Do you want to check in? And that helps spread the word about your business. So that's a cool thing. The other thing I didn't realize was on personal profiles, there's a maximum number of friends. It's something obscene, like 5,000 people, which I would argue that you shouldn't have that many friends as a person. But as a business, yeah, you hopefully could get to that number. So yeah, which you can have unlimited as a business page apparently. So there's lots of neat little things like that. So that's certainly.
Well, I think if I may just throw one more comment in on that, and that is that that's the key thing. You are becoming an entity online. You're actually, I hate to use this word, but you're a physical, because it's online, but you're a physical presence.
Mm-hmm.
People they know where you are, they know what your address is, they can do reviews on your business. So again, just want to underscore, it is very, very important for you to use your Facebook business page to promote your business, because it's really one of the most valuable promotional vehicles available to you today.
Yeah, it works for you if you pay attention. So if I'm going to flip the slide and we'll see if it comes with us or not. But the next question on the list is, how often should I post? And we can probably talk specifically about Facebook for now, just to keep it simple.
Okay, and when we do speak about Facebook, let's keep in mind that that's a euphemistic term that would apply to any of the social media pages to which you're connected. And let's talk about how often should I post. I first want to talk about the types of content that you would want to consider. There's content about you as a person. There's content about your company, in other words, the products and services that your company offers. There's content about the community, things that are going on in the community. There's also content about your industry. And so those are all different types of content. So one of the things you want to do is mix and match that. You don't want to focus on one particular type of content. Now, in terms of frequency of posting, you don't want to overpost, meaning you don't want to be posting 3, 4, 5 times a day. Imagine you as a consumer seeing 3 or 4 posts a day in your own news feed from a company with whom you might be doing business in your local area. That would be somewhat annoying. So you don't want to do that. You also, on the other hand, don't want to post too infrequently, meaning once or twice or 3 times a month, because then you're not in the mind's eye of your prospects and customers. So the general recommendation is it's appropriate for you to post 5 times a week, and let's say once each business day. The time of day isn't as critical per se, unless you do extensive studies, but certainly during waking hours, best time to post. And so really when you think about it, be prudent, be judicious, but posting up to 5 times a week would definitely be an appropriate number of posts for you.
And is it important, Brian, for them to use images when posting? What have you seen there?
Good question. Images are always work. Photographs, videos, something that will catch the eye, something that is of interest. There's sort of an underlying tenet, if you will, in terms of posts, and that's keeping it interesting, informative, and entertaining. And so relevant photographs, relevant videos, graphics, etc., all work to add to the engagement and to increase the interest on the part of your followers and likes.
Right. So what am I supposed to post? You started in the categories, but what should I post?
Okay, so let's go through the categories again. We have essentially 4 categories that I'm going to be speaking about. One is personal content about you as an individual. Let's say you are a realtor, and something personal might be that you just attended a banquet. And then this says, so number 1 is personal. The second thing is information about your business. You are going to have an open house, or you have a new listing, or you're a fitness club, and you're going to have a special trainer come in who's going to help you, help the clients to stay in better physical condition. So number 1 is personal. Number 2 is about your business. Number 3 is community information, what's going on in the local community, general information. Number 4 would be content that is about your industry. So it wouldn't be about you per se, but let's say you would, the 5 things. If you're a business that's involved with tutoring, you might say the 5 things you need to know to prepare for college entrance examinations. That might be an interesting article. So you want to mix those up as best as possible, but the key ingredient, the key factor is number of engagements. In other words, how many people actually see your post in their news feed and decide to react to that. That could be a like, a share, a comment, etc. And so what you want to do is have access to content that is interesting, informative, and entertaining. Those are the watchwords, and that's the kind of content that will be most valuable to your likes, your followers. Try to steer clear of too much personal. Try to steer clear of too much local, because they can get local content pretty much, or local news pretty much anywhere in the local feeds that they're getting in their local media and so forth, and really kind of focus on the industry information that will get you the highest engagements and keep the level of interest at the greatest, as high as possible.
Yeah, and what I've heard you tell me before is, like, your offers, if you're selling something, every post can't be about that. I mean, it could be, but that would be bad form. So a good mix is important, back to what you said.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you really don't want to spend a lot of time talking about yourself. You want to spend time sharing information that's relevant to them. You want to position yourself as the expert in your industry in your local community. Therefore, providing them with, again, that concept of interesting, informative, entertaining content that's tangential to your industry, relevant to your industry, will do a very good job at positioning you as that expert in your local community.
Nice use of the word tangential. That was excellent. Quick question, obvious, maybe a basic question to you, but why do the engagements matter? You talked about what's important is you're posting things that are creating likes and comments and shares. Why?
Well, engagements is the key arbiter, if you will, of the level of interest in your page. It's the only way you know. I mean, you can if you have a business page, you can look at views, you could look at how many people saw it, but you don't know what their reaction is. And engagements, meaning the interaction, is the way in which you will determine as to whether or not the content you've posted is relevant to them. So that idea of likes, comments, shares, etc., are absolutely critical. And so that's the key benchmark. If you send a post out and you get one person liking that post or one person sharing or commenting, that's better than having none, right? But you'd like to get 10, 15, 20 or so to keep the conversation going and to stimulate interest in you and your brand.
And when, often depending on user settings, if they like something, there's a likelihood that their friends will see that. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Great.
We call that the multiplier effect, if you will. So if you have, let's say, 1,000 fans or likes on your page, and let's say you send out a post and a couple of hundred people see that, and each one of those people have 250, you do the math, and that now becomes 1,000 plus people that will actually see your post and experience your brand.
Yeah.
So that's a key issue that will help you promote yourself.
Right. So where do I get this content of which you speak?
Okay. Again, we talked about those 4 categories, right? And so there are a number of sources available to you. Number 1, you can go out to the web on your own volition, if you will. Do your own research. It takes time, right? But you can do that. Another source is your own brain, your own creativity, your own pictures and things that may come to mind for you. A third source would be RSS feeds. You could get an RSS reader. A lot of email applications enable you to connect in an RSS reader, so you could subscribe to an RSS feed for your local newspaper, for your industry journals, etc. And those could come in and provide you with sources of articles and information. And fourthly, you could subscribe to a service. There are a number of fine services out there that enable you to have access to content that's either industry or general interest to the population. The key thing is doing it consistent and regularly. And so, as we talked before, you want to post out 5 times a week. So if you're doing it yourself, you might run out of steam. And many of us get enthusiastic and we post the first week that we're starting on our pages, and we might post 3 or 4 times. The next week, oops, we forgot, and we may only post once or twice, and then we let it go for a while, and then we'll get back into it and say, geez, I have to start posting. So doing it yourself is certainly a way to do it. Typically, it's more efficient for you and provides you a better way to leverage your time and energy if you do subscribe to a service. And that typically those services each day will provide you with a selection of content that you can post out to your pages. Now, at Engage 1-to-1, we do have a product called Hot Content, and Hot Content is for free. So it is a subscription service, but there's no fee associated with it. And each day, the user, right, the business, receives an email, and that email provides that user with 5 pieces of appropriate content relevant to their industry, specific to their industry. So if you're in fitness, you'll get articles and content appropriate for that. If you're in real estate, for example, you'll get real estate information. If you're in specialty retail, you will get articles appropriate for that. Or if you're in education or children's services, you would get information appropriate to that. And so if anyone is interested in that, Julie, I'm sure you have a page or email.
The link's under this video, I'm sure. The link is right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so just to be clear, so the user receives an email that has 5 links to 5 articles that we think are of interest to their readers that would follow that industry.
Yes, industry-specific, social-ready articles. 5 new articles every day. The user selects an article that they feel is appropriate for them, that's of interest to them. They click a button and it gets posted out to one or all of their social pages, depending upon what their preference is at that time.
Okay, that sounds easy. Let's do it. Great. So there's a lot of people on social media. How do I make sure I'm reaching the right people?
Okay. Probably one of the most important questions, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this because I think it's important for the audience to understand. If I have a Facebook business page, and again, we're using the term Facebook from a euphemistic perspective, let's assume that that correlates to other social media pages to which you would be connected. So let's say I have 100 likes. Some people call them fans, some people call them followers, but Facebook calls them likes. So I have 100 likes on my page. And I want to make sure or ensure that the individuals who have liked my page see my content, and when I post. Well, Facebook has an algorithm called EdgeRank, and EdgeRank will determine whether or not your post will appear on the news feed of the individuals who are followers of your page. So essentially,
wow.
If you have 100 followers and you post out, your post will not appear on the news feeds, or excuse me, in the news feeds of those 100 people. It might appear in the news feeds of 10 to 15 people. Now, Facebook provides you with a page for free. They don't charge you anything for your Facebook business page. Mm-hmm. However, if you want to reach individuals, then they ask that you spend some dollars to promote your posts. And therefore, one of the key ways to reach people who are already liking your page is to put a few dollars behind your posts from time to time. It doesn't need to be $100. It doesn't need to be $50. It can be $25, $15, or $10. Oh. In this way, your post will not only reach the 10 or 15 people, but reach the additional individuals who are not seeing your post. So how do you reach the right people in terms of those individuals that are already following your page is to promote your posts, meaning to put a few dollars behind it so it actually lands on the news feed of their page. So that's part A, which is how do I reach the people with whom I'm already connected? Yeah. You have to promote a post. Part B, and possibly more important, is how do I reach additional individuals that have the same profile of people who are already following my page? How do I reach them? How do I get them to follow my page, to join my community? Well, Facebook has something called custom audience targeting, which enables you to identify the characteristics of the individuals you would like to reach. Again, these are people who are not following your page today. And so you could set up a demographic profile. You could identify interests. You could identify geography and other factors that enable you to target individuals that you would like to reach and that you would like to follow your page. All right. So now if you decide to have a post and put $25 behind that post or $50 behind that post, not only would you be reaching more people who are already following your page, but you would then be able to target thousands of people who are not following your page, and your message can then end up and will be placed in the news feed of those people. Now the hope is your information is interesting, informative, entertaining, as we discussed before, that they'll like and share and they'll click through and they'll begin to follow your page. So a combination of those factors enable you to grow your community and reach more people. So the underpinning is advertising. If you put some dollars behind your posts, you will reach more people, and Facebook gives you a unique ability to target individuals that are specific to your business and appropriate for your target audience.
Mm-hmm. Wow, sounds like a lot. So where would you recommend I get started if I'm trying to really get my social media presence for my business rolling?
All right. Well, I'm going to then use an analogy. Since we talked about the fitness industry, let's use the analogy of fitness. And let's say you wanted to get in really good physical condition. You decided that you wanted to do that. So a couple of ways you could do that if you wanted to get involved with that endeavor. You might read a book or two. You might see a video. You do some homework. You'll lay a plan out for yourself, and you'll start doing exercise and diet and so forth. And that would mean, kind of do it yourself. So let's use that analogy in social media. You need to get started, and therefore you need to do some homework, listen to webinars and presentations like this, do some reading, do some research. Ultimately, you need to create a page, of course. You need to have a Facebook presence, Twitter presence, etc. You need those physical locations, if you will, on the web. And then you need to begin the process of posting, the process of responding to those posts, the process of advertising, and all of the activities associated with it. So that's kind of do-it-yourself. Mm-hmm. Now, let's move back to the fitness analogy and say, what is the best way for me to get from point A to point B? It might be to hire a trainer and have that trainer come in and say, okay, this is your objective. Your objective is you want to be in X level of fitness, at Y level of weight, etc., and we're going to put a plan together for you, and I'm going to stay with you. I'm going to meet with you 2 or 3 times a week. We're going to make sure that you stay on track. And so oftentimes it's much better for someone who is getting into social media to actually hire someone to help them out. So there are a number of ways you can do that in your local community. If you did a web search, you will find people who are, quote, experts in social media that will help you with content engagements, do your advertising for you, and so forth. That can be sometimes a costly endeavor, but it is probably an investment that's worthwhile. If you do hire someone to do it for you, make sure that you're learning, you understand what they're doing, and that way you can, if you wanted to eventually, take it on yourself. Here at Engage One-to-One, we do offer a concierge program called Social Media Assistant, where we do, like that trainer, we will manage your social media program for you. That would include managing content, managing posting, managing responses, managing advertising, measurements, results, building community, etc. Nothing precludes you from doing it yourself. Nothing precludes you from hiring there are a lot of companies, good companies out there and organizations that do it, but we strongly urge that you really strongly consider outsourcing, at least to get you started, and with a company with whom you feel comfortable that can manage the appropriate content, advertising, and engagements.
Well, great. Anything we didn't cover from a frequently asked questions perspective that you wanted to add?
Well, there's a lot to cover in social media. I think one of the things that we should probably finish with is measurements. How do I know I'm achieving success in social media? What are those characteristics or metrics of success. And so let's just talk about a couple things, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Number one is community. Is my community growing? Am I getting more likes? Am I getting more fans and followers? So that's the first step, all right? That's number one. The second one is engagements. How many people are interacting with my page? How many people are deciding that my content is interesting, informative, and entertaining enough to comment, like, or share? Mm-hmm. And the third thing is what I will call clicks. Some people might call them leads. Some people might call them business potentials. But I would look at how many business opportunities developed as a result of my social media presence. Now, that might be someone simply making a referral. It could be an individual who's asking for information, or it could be somebody who straight up gave you a telephone call and said they wanted to buy. Mm-hmm. But you really do need to keep an eye on those three metrics. Again, community building. In other words, am I growing my community? The second one is engagements. The posts I'm sending out, are they stimulating interest and interaction? And am I able to develop click-throughs that would generate business opportunities for me?
Great. Well, thanks for your time today, Brian. Very informative, lots of good info there. You'll see the links to some of the items we discussed down below this video, so enjoy that. Obviously, reach out to us if we can help you in any way, and to social media success.
Very good. Thank you for your time. Enjoyed speaking with you.
Thanks.